Start with a couple of chuckles today, as promised. It's all been a bit gloomy lately, so let's lift things up a bit. But I do want to tell a couple of funny hospital stories first. Then we can forget about them and go on to other things. But one made me laugh an awful lot, and the other one I'm very proud of. Not the last visit, but the visit before in hospital. I had a very pretty nurse, absolutely gorgeous, and I thought, won the jackpot here. Not the usual Godzilla or creature from the Black Lagoon that hangs around and gives you a very bad time. And of course, one of the duties, because of the shift she was on, was my shower of a morning. Not a very pleasant task for a young lady, but actually they needed two of them for part of it. Well, anyway, we're in the shower. I'm in a sort of chair thingy, I don't know what you call it. And she said, I really do enjoy giving you your shower of a morning. And I got all puffed up. I thought, well, this is rather good, isn't it? She said, yes, it makes me realise how thankful I am that I'm a lesbian. Well, I thought it was funny. Actually, we got on very well. Traded insults for about 3 weeks before I departed that one. I think she's still there, actually, but she's in a different ward. Second one was a prank I pulled on the last long stay. And I'm very proud of this one. We'd had a lot of rain and electrical storms. And as a precaution, 2 of the elevators had been put out. Well, they weren't out of commission, they were just a bit wary of them, so they shut them down so they couldn't be used. And after the morning treatment, I had to go round to get some scans done. Very pleasant, you don't have to do anything, you can fall asleep if you want to, and they do all the work. But because of the elevator situation, we had to use one set of elevators to go down right to foyer level, ground level sort of thing, where these, and on there is the reception desk, of course, that's way over to the left. Then in the centre there's a big sort of seating area for visitors whilst they're waiting, and also the cafeteria. Not bad food, actually. I did manage to secure some from time to time, and it was a bit embarrassing to think we had to go through there, but anyway, the beds are all got little motors on them, so they don't take you out of the bed and put you in a chair and take you down. They just wheel the bed out. And there was a little nurse on the front just making sure that it went round the right way, and one on the back pushing. It was only a little thing, and I got 2 IVs behind me, so she couldn't really see much of what was going on. So as we came out of the elevator, there's this mass of people, and there's the cafeteria and people lined up, and we had to sort of go down a strip in the middle and then turn right and go to some elevators to go up one floor to where I should have been anyway for the scans and stuff. And I don't know what made me do it. The devil, I think. So I laid back and pulled the sheet over my head, right over my head, and then let one arm dangle down the side, just swaying with the movement. It was a very good imitation of a corpse, I'll tell you. Well, it must have been, because as we got to the end, I heard of the trip towards the cafeteria, I heard a lot of gasps and stifled screams, and then as we turned the corner, and the people in the cafeteria could see. Oh, there was a lot of, I think people were feeling rather sick actually. Yeah, I think a lot of cream cakes got very wasted, and there was screaming and a performance going on, and as soon as we got out of sight, I got the the sheet ripped back, clear to the back of the head. Because once you know the nurses well, they know what they can get away with. And after the scans and I was back in bed, the nurse manager came to see me. And that's the old matron. She was not happy at all. And I thought, well, what the hell can they do to me? It's a live or die situation as it is. They can hardly send me to jail for 5 years or yell at me because I'll just pretend I'm having a heart attack if they do that. Works every time. So she went on about, the conduct of the senior citizens. Well, that put me off right from the word go. And the effect it had had on people in the cafeteria and the waiting rooms, or waiting area. It wasn't a waiting room. I was very contrite and said how earnestly sorry I was, and she went away. And then the little nurse came over and said that was as sincere as China telling England that they want to be close allies and give all their goods away for free. Got to do that sort of thing. I have no patience for... I have no patience for patients who get... What's the word I'm looking for? Dull. Morbid. Uninteresting. Okay. All the time you're alive, you're alive. You've got to make the most of it. In oncology, it's split into two on the male side. You've got those with levels 1 and 2. They're the new entry kids, shall we say, who aren't that bad, and they're going to get healed pretty quickly, hopefully, although you can never tell, and go home. Then you got the other side, which is level 3 and 4, which is where, well, let's just say there's some doubt. But it's all state, well, I can't say it's all state of mind. I think it's a lot of it's state of mind. I always think of one thing, even on this last few weeks, the bushfires, the houses going. Firemen have been killed now, and 200 people, whatever it is, thousands of homes, millions of wildlife, all dead. All dead. So how can you complain if you're still alive? Okay, it mightn't be the most comfortable, but how can you complain? You woke up this morning, you looked out the window and saw this rotten sun baking us all, but it was set in a blue sky. It was beautiful. I even had a seagull sitting on the windowsill, which you can't open the window, so I couldn't feed it. Anyway, who would want to be so cruel to a poor animal as to give it hospital food? Anyway, that's enough of that. Chuckle to start the day. Trouble is, I'm not very good at telling funny stories, but I hope you got the message. Got a call from somebody in Australia who watches the site. Hasn't subscribed yet because they're an old friend. And she said, why don't you just tell them what the normal day at sea is in a rather disreputable ship? Well, there's not a lot to say. In my case, I still stood a watch because we were always short crew, but skippers don't have to stand a watch, but what else would you do? It's boring. So my day used to start about 6:30 a.m. Go down to wherever the Tucker is being prepared. Have a nice breakfast roll, grab a cup of coffee, slurp some brandy into it, walk up to the bridge, read the night orders book from the night before to see if there are any incidents. There never were, because nobody ever writes them down in case and have to do something about it later. Get the weather report, do a course check, which has been done 10 times in the last hour anyway. Prop yourself in the corner of either the wheelhouse or go out on the wing bridge and enjoy the day. Some days catch you out, no matter how long you've been at sea. You don't know what the weather's going to do. I remember one day it started perfectly, and then mid-morning got a little bit choppy. After a couple of hours got very choppy. An hour and a half later we're in the biggest storm you've ever seen. There was bits flying off the ship left, right and centre. One of the boats was swept away. Well, they're no loss because we used to use the inflatables anyway. Even with the power-assisted steering, I had to put 2 men on the helm, not the steering wheel, the helm, and watch the electrics, because you only got to lose power in any way, shape or form when you're going to broach, and if you broach, well, it's hello Davy Jones. But anyway, generators kept going. Mid-afternoon was as black as midnight. There was no thunderstorm, no thunder or lightning, one hell of a wind. And the troughs that we were running in and out of were much higher than the stack, much higher than the stack. I don't know, 80 foot, 90 foot waves. And we were lucky, we got our bow into it and we just held it there. We weren't trying to hold any course, just keep your bow into it, because if you skittle off sideways in any way, shape or form, well, good night Charlie. By 6 o'clock it had cleared and we stood off the port we were going to enter, and we got a call from the pilot station to say anchor at X spot, which we did, because the port's chock-a-block because none of the ships could leave in the bad weather. And it was a lovely evening. The photograph I've used for this isn't the ship. This is just one that, this is just a photograph that shows what I'm talking about. And suddenly after the day, pumps going, bits breaking, water finding its way below, radar crashing. It was still at anchor, at sunset, and the cook, who wasn't just a cook, of course, he was a member of the deck crew, brought out a meal. Nothing fancy, mainly out of tins, but there was ice cream, which we'd had in the freezer. We always save that for a special occasion. And tin peaches, tin pears, tin mandarins, all that sort of stuff. And we just sort of lay around on the deck feeling the hum of the ship around you as the sun disappeared, and all was well with the world. Next morning, early, about 4 a.m, we took the pilot on board and motored in and came alongside. That was a bit tricky actually, because we were all not stone cold, legless from the night before. I think I drank a bottle and a half of black Sambuca and half a bottle of whiskey, with a few nice cold lagers thrown in just to dilute things a bit. Hangovers galore, yeah, Good job Red wasn't on board. We would have all been in big trouble. The pilot was giving us funny looks, but we got alongside with only one minor dent. Good day, that was. It was a good day. Now this morning I got informed that 2 Carnival ships had had a little bit of a bingle in probably Miami, I don't know. And I saw a little clip on YouTube of them coming together. It was just a tap on the arse by the nose of the other one. And I don't know who made it, but I sincerely hope it wasn't Harbour Control, because whoever was jumping up and down and shouting what was going on was acting like a demented ferret. And the rule always with ships is you keep calm. Doesn't do you any good at all to panic, and that just makes you die quicker. If you can keep calm, assess the situation, you're right. 99.9% of the time. That's what we did. The storm the day before should have sunk us, but it was a good crew. Captains aren't important. It's the crew, the petty officers and those on deck, that save the day. And the engineers, of course. The engine room is a terrible place to be in times like that, because you get thrown against things that are scalding hot. So that's the sort of, not average day, but that's the sort of thing you contend with all the time. I suppose the good thing is that no one day was the same as the next or the one before. Everyone was different and went their own way. Now there was something I meant to talk about, and I was even going to write it down so that I didn't forget it. But A, I forgot to write it down, so B, I have forgotten it, and it was terribly important. Not to worry, it'll come to me. In the meantime, for those of you overseas, the east coast of Australia is now officially on fire. Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, and there's even spot fires over in Western Australia. A lot of smoke around us here, although it's a long way away. We're not worried at all. They're not going to beat it, of course. They're going to have to wait for the weather to change. Sydney is actually surrounded by fire at the moment. It's a shame that a few of the firefighters have been killed, equipment lost. But reverting to what I said earlier, patients in hospital, even in oncology, where I can assure you it's not a Butlins holiday camp, thank God, but it's 1,000 times better than being dead. One thing I meant to mention about the 2 Carnival ships coming together was something an old skipper told me a long time ago. Nice guy, ex-Royal Navy, World War II, good sense of humour. And he said, a collision at sea can ruin your entire day. I'll attach a photograph of a collision at sea. One of the 2 ships sank. I'll let you guess which one it was. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, my friends. I'm here till the 27th. So I've got lots of time now to drive you crazy with other uninteresting facts. Bye.